If you want to discover the powerful benefits behind affirmations and how to write your own ones, this video is for you. Because understanding the power of affirmations will give you a huge advantage when it comes to achieving the goals that you want and manifesting all of the things that are important to you in your life. It's really a process of shifting the internal state and influencing the subconscious mind in order to work in your favor. Because the chances are you have some limiting beliefs that are holding you back, and affirmations are an incredibly powerful tool that's going to allow you to create all of the results you want in your life. And before we move on, I just want to briefly let you know that I have a free affirmation prompt worksheet to help you get started on this. I'll leave a link below where you can get that if you're interested. So to write affirmations that are actually successful and will work, I like to think of three main areas before we get into the writing phase, which I'm going to share with you now. First up is the theme. You can think of the theme as a particular area of your life or a specific part or trait of yourself that you're trying to improve. For example, you could focus your affirmations around any of the following life areas: health, wealth, business or career, relationships, purpose, personal growth, or even your social life. You then might want to dive into a specific category to go deeper into your theme. For example, let's dive into the personal growth category. You may want to improve specific parts of yourself, such as your self-confidence, self-worth, self-love, anxiety reduction, self-discipline, or growth mindset, to name a few. And it's fine to focus on multiple areas, but sometimes it's really nice to just focus on that one thing, the most important thing, and create a series of affirmations based on trying to change that one thing to achieve a specific goal. And a little hint here, most of them are interlinked. For example, if you focus on self-confidence, it's likely to have a knock-on effect to other areas of your life. So pick what's most meaningful to you at this moment in time. The next thing we're going to focus on is your language. Now, when I talk about language, I'm not talking about if you're English, French, Spanish, Portuguese. I'm talking about using some principles behind the language you speak and the energy behind the words you're saying. So we'll go over that now. Once you've identified your theme, we must look at the language. Affirmations work best when they're in the present tense and use empowering language. The mind understands the here and now. If you say something like, I'm going to become confident in myself and achieve my goals, it's a future-based language. And according to your mind, right now, it isn't important. It'll always be in the future. And so your mind is never going to look for that thing to help you achieve that in your life. It must be present. I am a confident person who consistently achieves my goals. Well, you might say, that's not true, Paul. I don't believe it. It's not true for me, or something along those lines. But here's the thing. You don't need to believe that right now, but you do need to believe it's possible. And something that can really help with this is some work from Byron Katie, where she asked, I think it's 4 questions. But basically, if you have a limiting belief, you want to actually ask yourself, do you know with absolute certainty, with 100%, that this belief is true? And the chances are you're going to say, no, it's not. And you understand that it's a belief. Okay, so right now, that's all you need. You just need to believe that it's possible that it couldn't be true, that something else might be true. And here's the reason why. If you repeat it enough times, you'll believe it. If you look for proof and evidence in your surroundings, you'll find it. And if you act that way enough times, you will become it. Aristotle famously said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. In other words, we need to focus on the beingness of this affirmation, of the thing that we want. And the repetition of the idea is going to embed it into the subconscious mind. Now I'm going to share with you the difference between using powerful language and, let's say, negative language or a weaker language, so that you know what type of language to use when you're creating your affirmations. And this is a sample from my affirmation breakthrough course. If you want more of this, then I'll leave a link where you can check that one out. Okay, so with some powerful language, I've already mentioned that I am is obviously a really popular and powerful term when it comes to creating affirmations. I'm the type of person who every day today I, X, Y always shows up in my life, fill in whatever the X, Y is. I feel, fill in the blank. I always fill in the blank. Right now, the present moment is, I'm so grateful for, I love to, I get to, I want to, I choose to. It feels effortless. This is really present and empowering language. And a side note here, what you can also do is, if you don't want to use it in the first person view, you can also create an affirmation as if someone is speaking to you. So for example, for me, I could say, Paul, you are the type of person who has incredible self-discipline and always does what he says. That might be something that you want to try doing if you don't enjoy, or maybe it just doesn't resonate with you to do the I am or in the first person view. Both of them will actually work fine. Okay, looking at some of the weaker language, some examples here might be in the future, I will, one day, sometimes, I have to, I must, I need to, I'd like to, I will become, future-based language, I'm going to, there's a chance that, things used to be great, talking in the past, I want to feel, it feels impossible, it's very negative, past-based, in the future, not present, not empowering. We don't want to use that language. So hopefully this gives you some ideas and some foundations to work from. The next piece is relevance. So when it comes to affirmations, relevance is important. Now, specifically what I mean is it helps to have clarity on the following. What's important to you and why do you want it? So think about the goals, the desires, and the values. Anyone can go onto Google right now and type in 50 affirmations to make me more money. And you can take some of them affirmations, but really, how relevant is it? What's it going to do to you? Do you even know your own limiting beliefs? How many of them are actually going to be effective for you? And so having clarity on who you are, what you want, what's important to you is really, really important. Once you know that, we then take a look at what's in the way, which is usually the limiting beliefs, the self-sabotage, fear. And I've created a belief shifter tool, which takes you through a process to really dive into this and extract those limiting beliefs and turning them into meaningful, empowering affirmations for you. And you can grab this tool for the price, probably cheaper than a cup of coffee these days. I'll leave a link if you want to check it out. So then we say, well, okay, I know these things are blocking me, these limiting beliefs. So what will help change that internally for me? So what's the belief that I need to change? And in this belief shifter tool, you can do this without the tool. You can just write it down yourself, but you want to reverse engineer the limiting belief and turn it into an empowering affirmation. So obviously you have a goal, you have an obstacle, which is the internal stuff. We want to reverse engineer that. And that is essentially going to create the new belief and affirmation. And it's the repetition of reading these or listening to these over and over again that's going to deepen it within the subconscious. And the other thing that I talk about a lot is you want to look for evidence in your day-to-day environment every day to make sure that you're seeing proof of this and looking for the evidence. And so with all of that stuff now, you have the information to start creating your own affirmations. And I'm going to give you some examples just so that we can dial this in and so that you're clear. So there's no confusion with this, but if there is, leave a comment below. I'll do my best to answer your questions. First, let me give you some more examples on this. I am intelligent and capable, and I confidently pursue challenging goals. I am acquiring the skills necessary to achieve my dreams and aspirations. I am transforming my weaknesses into strengths through continuous improvement. So let's just briefly break these down. First up, I'm using I am, which we've already spoken about, is very empowering for this. I'm acquiring the skills. So even if you don't have what it is at the minute, you're actually affirming. And this is a lot easier for some people because there's not too much of a contrast between where you are and where you want to be. If you say I'm acquiring rather than I am and you don't believe it, it's a little bit more easy for your subconscious and your conscious even to accept that as a possibility. And then when you say things such as continuous improvement, there's no end cap on that. So we're using an affirmation that it's present, but it's also, there's no end cap. So you can say this often. And the idea is you're still improving. You're still improving every time you listen to it or every time you read it. A brief summary. I am is a good place to start. You can either use first person or you can use third person. Then within the affirmation, when you're writing them, I want you to consider the beingness of it, who you're becoming, how you're feeling, how you're acting, how you're showing up. The being is always the first part. That is the internal piece of the be, the do, and the have. And then within the affirmations, once you've considered the idea of who you're becoming, whether it's a personality trait, a habit, or confidence, or energized, or whatever that might be, you can also talk about the to. In order, what's the purpose of this? Why do you want it? What's the other thing? For example, I am becoming more self-disciplined every day and I can feel my self-confidence continuously improving. So I'm basically saying that I'm becoming more self-disciplined. So it's an ongoing thing. It's in the present tense. It's happening every day and I can feel, so I'm linking it to my feelings. My self-confidence is continuously never ending, improving. So this is an affirmation that's present and it's continually moving forwards with movement. So there's no end cap on it. And so these are some affirmation ideas and tips to help you get started. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'll do my best to get back to you and have a great day. Until next time, my friend, I will see you soon.